evening, everyone. I'm Nicole Wolfe from Canadian Beats, and I'm joined with the lovely Dylan Villain from the Wild. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Dylan's from Ontario, but the band is from Kelowna, BC, and they are stopped here tonight. We're in Barrie, Ontario, with One Bad Son for the Psycho Killer Tour, so thanks very much. Now, previous interview with Canadian Beats, you spoke about how the band came together, a bit of an infamous tale. Why don't you share that story with us?
Yeah. Okay. It's been people love this one. I mean, they get asked this all the time. So let's add some visual to it.
Sounds great.
Great. Now, I was moving out to BC from Ontario quite a while ago, and I already had a group of friends that I had known from my whole life, pretty much, from Ontario that were living in BC. And so they're like, I think it was one of my first kind of let's go out nights in Kelowna. And they're like, we're going to go to this house party, and it's going to be pretty nuts. It was kind of on the outskirts of Kelowna, like, Yama, if anyone knows where that's at. And there was this band playing. It's just like, we were, I was 17 at the time, I think, or 18 or something. And so it's like, younger crowd or whatever, and big kegger and all this. And there's this band playing, and they're playing and covers and their originals and stuff, and it's nuts. And I'm in those days, like I was new to town too, and I was younger, so I think I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder. So I was just swilling straight whiskey and trying to be cool and whatever. And as the night progressed, I just got so drunk, and the cops broke it up. So the cops come flying into this party, which was like in this big outdoor area, like outside in the backyard, and the band that was playing just immediately kind of like sort of stops, but transitions right into "Fuck the Police." It was like a rock cover, right? I was like, fuck, these guys rule. I thought that was great. 17 years old, right? And so anyway, the cop thing kind of fades away a bit, and the party's still kind of lingering, smoldering, if you will. And so we're all hanging out, and I'm hanging out with this band, and I've been playing music, for good chunk of time at that point. And had plans to go to Vancouver, but I was drunk, and I was, I'm going to start a band. And I was so drunk, and I remember telling them when we were all sitting in the circle, I'm like, I'm going to, you and you and you and you, and we're going to start a band. And they're like, who the fuck are you, man? Like, where'd you come from, and whatever. And then, so from that point, going back to the setting when they're actually playing songs and stuff, kegs are out, and they were sort of by where the band was, and they have all these pitchers out, and it was like, throw some money in the pitcher, and they'll keep playing because they were young, and it wasn't like a venue or anything. It was just like, throw some money in the pitcher, and they'll play. So they had all this money combined from all these pitchers in this one pitcher, and it was like full of 20s and 10s and 5s and stuff, and loose change. And I remember we're standing in that circle, and we're talking, and I'm spouting off about starting this band and whatever, and I'm like, I just knew it. I'm like, I'm going to puke. I'm going to puke right now. And so I did, like, I don't know how I thought of this, but I'm like, hey, man, look over there. What's that? And then everybody, looked, and I grabbed this pitcher full of money and just puked all over their money, and I put it on the ground. And then he turned around and was like, I don't know, man. I must have ran away or something. And then they're like, oh, what's this about? So I don't even know if I copped to it or what. But anyways, we ended up becoming really close, and the funniest part about the story is the band was Reese Lightning and Boozes were in that band.
There you go.
And that's how I met them.
There you go.
I puked all over their money and said, we're gonna start a band together.
So you paid them back essentially in terms of your musical ability, I'm sure.
I hope so.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
My goodness. What's it like touring with One Bad Son?
Great. They gave us. I've said this a lot, but I'll say it to the end of time. They gave us our first real sort of break on the road. You hear a lot of bands say that sort of stuff where you have somebody take you out, sort of thing. And that's exactly what happened with One Bad Son, and they were there before any of it. Before we got signed, and before we had a big song or anything like that. So in a lot of ways, I always feel like we owe a lot to them because they got us our first real tour. With them, which as a result of that tour going well, got us signed with the agency group, which is now UTA.
Right.
And that's, we're all under the same agency. And so that got us that, and then after that we got signed, and then after getting signed in Canada, they gave us our first cross Canada tour.
Amazing.
And they brought us out that way, and we're between them and the Lazies. That's the two bands that we're the closest with in Canada, and
fantastic,
and pretty much anywhere. Like, they are truly our best friends and our brothers, and we love them. And
that's really great.
Can't thank them for enough for everything they've done for us.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, best story on your tour. Has there been some highlights?
Oh yeah,
things that you can share on camera.
No, no. Like, a lot of bands, I think, talk too much about things and. In general, we don't talk about things; we do things.
You do things.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a quote I read somewhere that's saying, it's okay, it's great to play live, but you have to perform to be good. You have to give it your 150%.
That's right.
That's your line.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Completely.
Yeah, everything and everything in this business, but in life, like if everyone's working hard, you got to work harder than that. Yeah.
To be noticed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, what will you do when the tour's done?
This one?
Yes.
I'll go home. I'll go home. Well, first we'll unload. Actually, we will, because we finished in Vancouver, so we flew out for this one. But yeah, I'll go home. We'll unload all the gear. I'll go home. I'll see my girl and eat a lot of pizza. Watch a bunch of movies. I don't know.
And relax. But in terms of the band, though, what's happening with the band?
Edit.
That's okay. No, I was going to ask personally and professionally. So.
Yeah, with the band. Before we came out, before this leg of the tour, we were on the road. So we were out with Buck Cherry and Godsmack.
Right.
And that was awesome. But in the midst of that, we were kind of, getting ready for the next record. So we're just getting those songs together, and we just finished up pre-pro on it, and just getting really tight on them, so that when we go in the studio, we're really, really ready for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, the title of your album pays homage to a saying from someone, I guess, within the Wild family. Goddamn Wild Boys.
Yes.
Did that come? I mean, it probably wasn't intentionally chosen until after the album was created, or how did that come about?
Yeah, like with the first, I think it happens a lot with your first record. You have so many songs and so much more time to put songs together. So the songs had been written for a while, and there was actually 2 versions of the record that were going to come out before the EP did, and it was going to be a full length. So there was originally 12 songs, and what we did is we just took like what we thought and what Mike, our producer, thought were the best ones, and put those ones out, and yeah. So what happened is when we were younger, when we first started touring, Luz's girlfriend Ashley, she's a good friend, really good close friend to all of us, and has been around since like our old bands and stuff. So she's kind of seen the young years and the crazy years. And we'd bring him. He would always do this thing where he would drive first, but that meant he would finish first, so that he would start drinking again. So he would notoriously finish tours drunk, and we'd be dropping him off, hammered. And she jokingly and like half serious would always be like, "You goddamn Wild Boys! You're always bringing them home drunk. What the fuck, man?" And it just kind of stuck with us, and we would just say it joking around and whatever. But the fans got a hold of it. I don't know how, but it really became something with them, because they turned it into the whole GDWB thing, and were calling us it too and yelling it when they'd see us or whatever. And so when we made the record, it was a cool way to kind of, I thought, to bring it all under one roof.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and give the fans a nod and all that. And
absolutely.
That's
really great.
Yeah.
Now, Slow Burn, second single that was released on your album. It's hit top 20s in the active rock charts. Really great song. Looking forward to hear it tonight. But the video, it's very creative. And there's scenes where there's pianos with explosives. There's the opening scene is opening a can of beer with a gun.
The chainsaw.
At the chainsaw. Isn't there a part with the shotgun opening?
Oh yeah, no, that was the shotgun beer where we're.
Oh,
chainsaw
that's what
opens
it was.
And it's shotgun with the handgun.
Right, right. What was that like, shooting that video?
That was fun. It was like, compared to Roadhouse was, not grueling, but it was like 17 hours a day for 3 days straight. A lot of this shot, that shot, getting everything. Where Slow Burn, we just we sold out our album release. We oversold it actually by like 400 people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it was ridiculous. So we filmed that show, and then we were just like, we saw the footage. We're like, it's cool, but it needs something else, like, and kind of like wild stuff. So we just went out in the bush one day, kind of by the studio where our studio is, and just had some fun. Loaded up an old piano full of tannerite, blew it up. You know, the usual stuff that we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who doesn't, explode pianos in music videos?
No, you gotta give them what they want.
Absolutely.
No, that song's been great to us. I mean, watching it when we released it, I kind of had a feeling that it would be received well at radio.
Right.
But then, when it hit top 20, we were like, wow, that's great. And then it hit top 10, that was great. And then when it hit top 5, we were like, is this even really happening? And honestly, it's true. Like, one song can change things for you, which it did. We're not, flying in private jets, but this is what we do for a living. So.
And I mean, it appeals to guys and girls alike, right?
Yeah.
So it works really well.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys get a chance to attend concerts ever as fans, or are you pretty much, your music life is your own and on the road? Yeah,
like, not really, but when the cool thing about, like, touring with, when you're doing the support thing, you watch your favorite bands or your friends every night. Yeah, like, we're really close with the guys in Buckcherry, and I've been a fan of theirs since, the first record came out in 99, and, Godsmack, same thing, One Bad Son, The Lazies, all these guys, are close friends of mine, and some, closer than others or whatever. Like Shane and I, and One Bad Son is like my best friend. And but like when I watch someone who I care about, but not only I'm a fan of and respect, doing their thing every night, that's a pretty cool perk to the job.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The last concert though that I did see was Mike Fraser, my very good friend Mike Fraser, and our producer. He caught me a couple of pretty insane front row seats to AC/DC.
Oh my goodness!
At BC Place in Vancouver. Yeah.
Wow.
50,000 people in front row. It was pretty insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But other than that, like, man, I never get to see
it. Well, that would be one for sure to see.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a go-to cover song that you perform?
Yeah, for an encore, provided we get one.
Of course we will.
No, for an encore, we play "Fight for Your Right to Party."
Great.
BC Boys, yeah.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it's fun. Like we know some other ones, but we're not a cover band,
No, you're not.
We like our songs. And we want everyone to hear our songs and know us for our music. But certain times it's too good of a moment. You got to bring the room together. Something everybody knows.
That it does.
Yeah.
Now, who's the troublemaker in your band?
Reese Lightning, Pistol Pete, Boozis, Dylan Villain.
So equally.
Wow.
Troublemakers.
It depends who. It depends what the next day entails. Put it that way. If it's a day off, then you're getting the full goddamn Wild Boys experience. If we don't have a day off, then it's probably the other three, and I'm taking it easy. Resting my voice.
And is tomorrow a day off or not?
Tomorrow is 2 days off.
Uh-oh. It's going to be a good night in Barrie.
Getting buried.
Sounds good. Now, if we were to come to your house for dinner, what would you make us?
Well, my girlfriend Jen is an incredible cook. She's vegetarian. And so when I'm home, I eat pretty clean that way with her. And I love when she makes stir fry. I really like stir fry a lot. But she makes all sorts of things. But we both really like pizza. Both are obsessed with pizza. And we both really like tacos. So she makes killer tacos.
Fish tacos?
Fish tacos, shrimp tacos, or we'll make what are those things called? Chickpeas. And fry them like ground beef with the same seasoning and rock that with rice and peppers and onions and mushrooms.
That'd be really good.
Yeah. I'm into tacos. Tacos and pizza. Pretty standard, right?
They're great foods.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, last question for you. In 20 words or less, describe the Wild for us.
Rock and roll.
That works. That works well. Great.
You heard it here.
Rock and roll. Well, thank you so much, Dylan, for joining us today.
Yeah,
it's been wonderful having you, and we definitely look forward to the show tonight.
Yeah,
and stay tuned to Canadian Beats. There'll be full coverage of the show, including pictures and a review and whatnot. So, this is Nicole Wolfe from Canadian Beats. Thanks very much for joining us.